Hi guys, Lisa Edwards of Exclusive Career Coaching here. And I wanted to talk today about what is going on with your coworkers. And hey, by the way, if the problem is not your coworkers, but somebody in your family or a friend, just insert as needed because the same thing works. So as a coach, as a career coach, I so often hear a lot of drama about what's going on in the workplace. So just last week, I was listening to a client and she had a lot of drama around her boss. And as we kind of ferreted that out, we realized that she was just making a whole lot of assumptions about certain things that her boss was doing or not doing, saying, not saying. And what I want to tell you is that it's never them that is the problem. It's what you're thinking about what they're saying, what they're doing, what they're not saying, what they're doing, not doing. And we want to have a lot of drama around that. And women, we are particularly guilty of this, right? So what I want you to think of the next time a situation comes up at work and you sort of feel yourself getting anxious or upset or whatever the emotion is about someone else's behavior. So coworker, boss, a direct report, or somebody in your family. I want you to see if you can separate out kind of the drama from the facts, which I call the math. So in the math column, in this situation with this woman and her boss, the math in the math column was that he had promised her a certain thing, a certain percentage for a monthly bonus based on performance. And it was a couple of percentage points less than that is what she was actually seeing in her check. Now, here's the thing. That's neutral. Now we automatically want to say, oh, that's horrible. He's terrible. He's an awful human being. But that's actually very neutral until she has a thought about it. And the thought that she was choosing to think was that he didn't trust her. He didn't respect her as much as the men in the office. He was a thief. He was a crook. All of these negative things that were not serving her. They were affecting her direct reports because she was saying things about him in the office that was creating a negative work environment, and it was affecting her at home as her husband was listening to it and hearing all of this negative emotion. So here's the deal about the boss. And again, insert whoever you're having quote unquote difficulties with in place of boss. He gets to do whatever he wants to do. He gets to be whoever he wants to be. You cannot control him. He's going to do him. Tony, his name was Tony. Tony's going to do Tony. You only get to be in control of yourself. So you can't change Tony. You can't make Tony do something different. But what you can do is react differently. So as I coached her, the thought that she was having originally was, again, he's a crook, he's a thief, he doesn't like me as much as the male employees, he doesn't trust me, all of that. And that was all in the drama column, right? No basis for that other than her thoughts. So we agreed that she could start practicing a new thought. And the thought that she liked, and I kind of asked her what else she could be thinking, she liked the thought, I'm really well compensated for what I do. I have a good job. So even though he's giving her maybe 2% less in bonus than he promised her verbally, she's making very good money for her education level and for the geographic area that she works in. And so she could choose to be really grateful about that. Now, here's the deal. It's a separate issue whether or not she talks to her boss about the discrepancy and takes care of that. And in fact, I encouraged her to do that. But I encouraged her to do it after 30 days of practicing her thought of gratitude. Because here's the thing. If she goes in today, today's Monday as I do this, if she goes in today and says something to him, it's going to come from a place of anger. It's going to come from a place of assuming that he's a thief and a crook and doesn't like her. And her energy is going to be wrong. She's going to assume things. As soon as he starts talking, she's going to jump to conclusions about what he says or doesn't say, and the energy is going to be entirely wrong for this to come out the way that she wants it to come out. I said, if you practice this for 30 days, I am grateful I have a job, I'm well compensated for the work I do, and then go to him in 30 days, the energy is going to be completely different. Her thoughts about her boss will be completely different, and I guarantee she'll have a completely different outcome than she would today. So I hope this makes sense. So as I kind of recap this, and I see some folks on, so hi to everybody. If this makes sense, let me kind of recap everything. boss, coworker, spouse, child, whoever it is, gets to do and say or not do or not say whatever they want to. We have no control over them. And if we think we do, now assuming they're not a small child that we still have control over in some regard, let's say these are adult children or adult people, we can't control them. And if we think we can, we're delusional, basically. So we have to let them do what they're going to do, because they're going to anyway. The only thing we have control over is what we make that mean, what they say, what they do, what they don't say, what they don't do. And my acid test always for my thoughts about someone else, or my thoughts about myself for that matter, is this thought serving me? Is this thought getting me the result that I want? So I guarantee you, as she was thinking, my boss is a thief, my boss is a crook, he doesn't like me as much as the male employees, she was not getting the results in any area of her life that she wanted with that thought. So by replacing it with a thought of gratitude, she is much more likely to get to the result that she wants, which is to kind of come to an agreement with her boss about her compensation and feel like she is, have proof that she's on parity with the male workers. So think about what you're thinking about the next time some sort of a disagreement or a possible situation comes up. Decide what you want the result to be and kind of work backwards to what do I need to be thinking as I go into this situation and handle it and manage it to get the result I want. I hope this is helpful. Candy, yes, holding negative thoughts affects us, not them. Thank you for saying that, Candy. Yeah. It's so funny to me, and I'll share a situation with you that I think is fascinating and that really brought this home to me many years ago. So in a former marriage, so the father of my children, when I was married to him, I was also the stepdaughter to his daughter from a previous marriage. And she's born in 75, so she's like 44 years old now. She was like 15 when I was 15 when she was born, something like that. Anyway, I found out in the year my son graduated high school, so in 2010, I had not seen her for, oh my gosh, since the 80s. I found out that she hated me because of a medical choice I had made for her having to do with growth hormones. She was going to be like 4'9", full grown, and I've advocated, because she wasn't growing, I advocated for her to get growth hormones, and she had made me out to be a villain. I didn't know anything about this. She hated me. She could not say enough negative things about me. I was the villain of her life. How fascinating is that? I hadn't even thought of that girl for decades. And I find out that she has made me the villain in her life, had no effect on me whatsoever, was really negatively affecting her life. So think about that. And who are you vilifying in your life? And it's not having any effect on them whatsoever. They don't even know about it, but it is having a tremendous effect on you. So thanks, Candy, for that comment. I think that's so true. So I hope this has been helpful. And as always, write me a comment, ask me a question. I'll be glad to help you. Take care.